by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
So we'd like to see it. We'd like to think, we're never happy with that. I've said for a long time, we've been very fortunate here and have only, had a couple losing seasons the whole time I've been here, so we're a little spoiled. So 5-4 was awful close to knocking on that door down.
Well, the biggest thing we got to do is replace the 4 seniors we graduated last year. A super talented class led by Colby and Cooper, Deegan, Hayden. We lost a lot of yardage, a lot of tackles. So we need our juniors and seniors this year to step up.
It's real important, really. I'm looking for them to really step up in practice and preach to those guys how hard we need to work. I've been telling them all year, 13 guys, we got to be the most in shape team in the state of
Mahomes at 8 is interesting. He's got Tyreek Hill in Miami talking about Tua's more accurate, right? He's got Sammy Watkins talking about Aaron Rodgers. I feel like Mahomes is kind of out for some kind of revenge tour.
Big Red Nation flew all the way over to Ireland and opened it up with another dud. So certainly the heat's going to turn up on Scouts Ross considerably here over the next few weeks.
Salvi swings and drives it to left. That is long gone. Home run, Salvador Perez, and the Royals are back in front by 4.
And Kama Angel still up. And he rips one fair ball down the line. This may clear them all. Eno is in, rounding third, coming home, and to third the throw goes and tagged out there. But a base-clearing double. And it's 9-1.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Hey, we made it to week number 2 here on Sports Day. Steve Webster with you. Mike Hesher, smile, man. Look around at the camera. Hey!
I looked at it Friday. It was not pretty.
Also, Mike Corson in with us today. The 2 Mikes. Good to see you, sir.
Wasn't there a show, Mike and Mike, somewhere along the line?
We can't use Mike and Mike. That one's trademarked.
Okay,
so we got to keep Steve in there.
So what is the MSM?
Yeah, we can't be M&M.
We can be MSM. Hey, good to see you guys in here today. We've got, again, a very good show planned out. Now, whether the plans come together or not, we'll wait and see. But coming up on today's show, Patrick Burnett, the voice of the Panthers, will be in for a short time. And Patrick's out in Colorado. I'm going to ask him about his man trip out there more than anything else. So, but he's back. He's ready to go to work on Friday. Panthers play at McPherson coming up on Friday.
I think him and his wife got, I can't think of the word, but he was in Allen's Park, my understanding was, and he had no cell reception up there, so they could not text back and forth.
Yeah, the old cell reception story.
Yeah.
The old.
Heard that one before.
Also, Panther Prowl, on the prowl with Mike Corson today. Shelly Duvall. Energy brought to the studio.
She always brings it. Lady Panthers had their scrimmage Friday night. JV put up a good test against the varsity, so she's got a lot of options.
And Jim Misunas back in studio today. Great Bend Tribune. It's been a while since Jim's been in studio, probably the last time we did the show a year ago. So we'll get Jim's look at what's going on with all the fall sports around the area. And, of course, also Joey Barr does work. Catch at Kansas. He was over at that scrimmage in Claflin on Friday night, so he got some good audio from Chris Steiner and John Webster and Coach Lumpkins, a new coach at Otis Bison. So that's all coming up here.
Are we going to add Joey as a contributing factor to the show if he continues to do this?
Oh, he was a contributor before.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
We've got.
I didn't know if he got recognition for that.
Well, okay, if I said his name, is that recognition?
Does he get walk-up music?
Probably not. He's not going to be in here today.
Oh, okay, all right. Didn't mean to cause any problems. Jeez. Okay.
Jeez? Okay.
It's better than wow.
I was going to say, I can't say wow.
I don't know. You're executive producer. Pay him.
Oh, okay. We'll work on that.
Okay. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. There's some of that sound you'll hear later. Chris Steiner, his team went 5-4 last year. looking to move up a little bit. Yeah, 5-4 is a little bit close to 500 for Steiner and the boys. That hasn't been the case over the past several years.
He's had some lean lineups over there. I mean, they were a powerhouse since the school came into being, but a couple bad years, but he got back on the right side last year. Nice class coming back, so sounds like they'll be doing all right.
John Webster, head coach of the Lacrosse Leopards. They lost their first 2 games last year, then reeled off 8 straight before they ran into a pretty good Hill City squad in the playoffs. Colby Stoll, man, that's a big loss. And I know in 11-man, you lose one guy, yeah, but if it's an impact player, all-state player, that can make a big difference, especially an 8-man. But I think the Leopards will be very competitive, wanting some of those other players to step into new roles this year that his seniors did a year ago.
Sounds like he's got a dual threat quarterback with Morgan, and then it's Lacrosse. So when they go 0-2, you're like, what's going on in Lacrosse? Especially with Stoll back there.
Starting their 3rd year of 8-man football. So Ellenwood now carrying the flag as the 11-man football playing school in the Central Prairie League. And, boy, how would you like to come in and Tom Lumpkins taking over for Travis Starr? I want to get Travis on here. Maybe we can go throughout the fall. Incredible run at Otis Bison. 13 guys out. I've seen teams compete like that, but it's really hard to practice, so he was really thankful that they had a jamboree so he can run a little bit of a scrimmage. So
I think Otis Bison's one of the smaller 8-man schools, so 13 is a really big deal. But, yeah, Travis had some Dylan Wisman and the gang. It used to be a big deal when Otis Bison and Central Plains would square off.
I did. That was one of my first games that I did here at KVGB back, 87, 88. They played up at Russell for the state championship against Baileyville B&B.
Who is no longer around.
No, who's no longer, yeah, exactly.
I remember a Baileyville game. They were always in the playoffs and playing at Central Plains, and I was wearing shorts, I think, in November. Tribute to Coach Steiner.
Yeah.
And, of course, the Baileyville fans had to give it to me because that's what Baileyville did.
Maybe that's why they're no longer a school. I don't know. Oh, okay. I'll shut up. You guys both looked at me like, what are you doing here?
Dan Graziano, ESPN. Players have given Patrick Mahomes plenty of bulletin board material this year. I think Patrick Mahomes he's got the old chip on his shoulder.
Isn't it weird that you can be that good, that successful, and people then still doubt?
Well, now they pushed him down a little bit, So I hope they're all wrong, and he does come out and play. But
I mean, we saw him for, 3 series this preseason. He looked good, but...
And what's Tyreek Hill supposed to say?
He's just mad he didn't get his go-away card.
But you can't go to a new team and say, well, yeah... Tua, I guess he's okay, but he doesn't throw it as good as Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, you can't say that.
You're not going to say that if you go to a new team, so we'll find out.
He's still playing for the Dolphins. We'll see how that works out for him.
Absolutely. Mark Schleybaugh. My son-in-law's a Nebraska fan. Grew up in Holdridge.
Really?
I feel sorry for the Nebraska fans because you hold on to the past so much when Nebraska was just unbelievable. And ever since they've gone to the Big Ten, kind of a different result. And they can't fix it with legends. It's kind of like chasing, what KU has done with their football coach. They get past legends to come in there and lead them. Bo Pelini, he was winning 9 games. That wasn't good enough. Now they might take that right now.
I mean, you got Osborne in there, legend, but then they bring in Frank Solich, wins 9 games, and he got fired. Yep. So they lost my sympathy at that point.
There's no sympathy here for Nebraska.
Well, again, self-awareness of what you are as a program. But just think of, my son-in-law, he grew up when he's 10 and 11, and they were great, They were contending for national championships, and now a whole generation of Husker fans.
And the faithful still show up, I think.
Oh, yeah. They still have the third. Of course, they're played in Ireland, so I can't really say that, but it's usually 77,000 strong, if not more.
Yeah.
third largest city in the
They tend to leave earlier now than they used to, though. Of course, I don't know. Back in those days, I think they beat KU 54-0, 12 straight years. Then that ended finally. That streak ended.
KU beat Nebraska? I know K-State did, but did KU beat Nebraska?
Of course they did. They put up 76 points on them.
Is it the Todd Racing years?
Yeah, the last time that they had a winning record.
Talking football,
and won the Orange Bowl. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, Salvador Perez, a 2-run homer, gave the Royals an 8-4 lead over the Padres. Did you catch any of that game as it it drawled on? Denny was like beside himself. He was ready to go home, and it was like 4:45. So, the game's over 4 hours long, and it was...
Well, it's past Denny's nap time, but there was that 8th inning. That one inning was very long that they scored all the runs.
Yeah, and they got off to score the first 5.
Yeah.
San Diego came back. Royals win it. Royals, they have the night off. They'll go to Chicago. The White Sox, who were picked to win the Central. Let's see, they just got swept by the not the Oakland Athletics, but they were swept over the weekend by the Angels. So
Royals' magic number is like 11.
To hold off Detroit?
No, not to lose 100 games.
And then the call on ABC, Angel, a 3-run double, gives Hawaii a 9-1 lead over Curacao in the bottom of the 3rd inning of the Little League World Series championship game. Hawaii goes on to win in 4 innings by the mercy rule, 13-3.
I watched a little bit of that game. The catcher for Hawaii, he had all the mannerisms of a professional catcher already. He knew what to do. He looked very professional.
I wish I could have grown up and played in a ballpark where you could actually hit the ball out of the park.
No kidding.
There's no way. The ballparks I had now, and Patrick, he grew up, they didn't even have a center field fence. So how are you supposed to hit one out of the park there?
Moffett Stadium in Larned had those row of trees. They didn't have a fence for several years.
Really?
Yes.
It's like the polo grounds, right?
If it went over the ledge, it was a home run. So you forgot one thing.
What did I forget?
Liverpool beat Bournemouth by a score of 9-0 in the European League, or in the Premier League. I have to throw that in there. Get my European League in there. So, yeah.
Is that team going to be relegated now?
That's what I like about soccer in England.
Okay, we're going to move on right now.
Well, we got 15 seconds, Mike.
So did you watch it?
That game, no, but I watched the game yesterday. Don't ask me who it was because I can never remember.
All right. There you go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. Let's see. Barton Volleyball off to a 7-0 start.
That's good.
And they're still not going to play at home. They'll go back to Nebraska this weekend. So they'll be in the McCook tournament starting Friday. And then a week from this coming Friday, they'll finally get home. Barton Soccer, men and women, splitting games and almost dumping a top 2 team. The Barton men beating Indian Hills 4-2 on Friday up in Council Bluffs. And then on Saturday, tied at 0-0 against number 1 ranked Iowa Western, ended up losing 1-0. See, I'm getting soccer in there.
I was going to say, I was going to make that comment.
But it's not 0-0. It's nil.
It's 0-0. And the women, 18-0. They beat Trinity Valley.
Wow.
On Saturday, then Sunday, lost to 2-1 to number 2 ranked Tyler.
Should have saved some of those goals.
There you go. You complain that there's no scoring in soccer. Just go watch the Lady Cougars.
Well, Liverpool put 9 up.
That's why I think that team's getting relegated.
It's too early.
I've never heard of them to begin
with. Is Liverpool between the Colorado border and Tribune?
It's on the western side of Colorado.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
By Grand Junction.
All right, Patrick Burnett's going to join us. Jim Misunas is going to be in today. We'll have a Panther Prowl with Shelly Duvall and some sound from that jamboree. I was going to call it scrimmage. Jamboree at Central Plains High School on Friday night. All part of Sports Day here on KVGB.
One of the great advantages about online classes is you can take them anywhere. I would sit in my room, still in my robe from waking up, and I just try to focus on my classes. From Barton, I kind of took a range of classes from accounting, history, and I took PE 1 and PE 2 through Barton. They transferred pretty incredible. It helped save money, and it helped save some time, too. Just to think that you can live really anywhere and take these classes, I think it's pretty cool.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
After a day off Monday, the Royals head to Chicago to face the White Sox Tuesday.
A swing and a drive to left center field and deep. That's a way back, and that ball is gone. Home run, Bobby Witt Jr., and the Royals have broken it up open here in the 7th inning.
Game 1 of 3 against Chicago Tuesday, 6:30 pregame on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Royals Baseball brought to you in part by Bugles Dyke Chiropractic, the Liquor Box in Hoisington, by Next Tech Wireless, and the Great Bend Co-op Bulk Fuel Department. Wow, I didn't put in the Big P bump music today. Sorry, Patrick. I'll have to get used to it.
It's a new year. It's time for new bump music, brother.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
So I heard that you used the old story about, honey, I would have called you, but I was out of cell phone range.
Oh, absolutely, yes. At 8,500 feet above sea level, electronics no longer work.
No, and you can't. So
yes, absolutely.
So you went to Colorado.
I did.
How was that?
It was awesome. It was
8,500 feet. Where were you at?
We were at a retreat center. The closest town was Allen's Park.
Is that north of?
It's
northwest of Denver, where you were at.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So the town most people might be familiar with is Estes Park. Estes Park was about 30 minutes from Allen's Park, and this retreat center, if you will, from Allen's Park was still a good 5-10 minutes, off a dirt road over here and around here, and yes.
Well, glad you're back. I mean, we'd only have like 4 days to find a replacement if you got ate by a bear. So
there was a sign that when we got there that said there is an active bear, and a whole list of protocols of what to do if
you don't want to set your pizza out on the back porch.
No.
Okay, or anywhere near camp.
Yes, we we learned that. Not necessarily the hard way, but
all right, getting ready for another football season coming up, and Friday night you go to McPherson, and Aaron Beck's going to be on Wednesday this week because we have our Royals baseball on Thursday, and quarterback Caden Shireman's going to come in for the program too, and I guess let's talk about the quarterback right away. So here we go. Panther football trying to end the losing streak and get back going again. And as Aaron mentioned last week when he was in on the show, a lot of competition for jobs right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of youngins. This freshman class is kind of the anointed class, if you will. They have had a ton of success down in the lower levels, at their age groups. And so a lot of youngins are pushing the upperclassmen, which is really, really good because you want some competition in reps and practice. And every coach always says it, but how true is it? No spots guaranteed. Well, when you have some younger kids, it's going to push an upperclassman to hold their position.
Yeah.
So I think it's really good. And yes, having your signal caller coming back is very helpful. Caden's a dual threat quarterback. Last year he ran for 200 yards, almost passed for 1,000. So just the fact that, you've got a guy that is in charge of the offense on the field that's already been through the fight already once before. He's had some battle scars. He's had a chance to grow a little bit. That's going to be helpful coming on Friday night.
And all the success that the Panthers had in the 3 years before the last two, and then you go through this, you talk about being, hot and then cold. You just want to keep that winning tradition going, and I think that that's Aaron Beck's goal this year, to get that back up. He says the locker room's been good so far.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no talk about last year. And quite honestly, when you start to look at this schedule, there's some games in here that you look at that you go, all right, I'm not necessarily saying Great Bend should be favored, But you would think against a Wichita Southeast that was 0-9 last year, a Ulysses squad that was 2-6 last year and lost their head coach after 1 year. Those are games. The Liberal game, Great Bend led that game all the way through until just late in that game last year. Liberal finished 4-5. Panthers were in the Dodge game. They were in the MAC game. So, I mean, you look at last year's results and think, okay, we've got some guys back this year that stung a little bit. And so they've had 12 months to work, 12 months to prepare, 12 months to get better. And so I only think that makes this year's team that much more eager and ready to get after it.
Okay, we talked about Caden. He's got some nice targets.
Yeah, he does. Everybody is going to scheme to stop Braylon Council. He is by far the go-to offensive threat. And when teams scheme to take him out of it, the question is who else is going to step up from the receiver spot? How is the line going to be able to do to open up some holes for Cody Miller to try to be able to run through? And then once you start to establish that opens up the quarterback run game. So if teams are going to try to cover Council one-on-one with the safety over the top, that's 2 men dedicated to him. So that means somebody else is going to be free to roam around and possibly make some plays, and it's going to be up to the offense to figure out who those guys are and who can step up and make those plays.
Defensively, that's where the a lot of replacements are going to be this year, it looks like.
Yeah, it all starts in the middle with Matthew Mater, the middle linebacker. He's going to be the signal caller. He's, if he was in the NFL, he'd be the guy that has the green dot, on the back of his helmet. He's the guy in charge that's going to run that defense. And when you look at the top 4 tacklers from last season, Matthew Mater was the number 1, but the next 3 all graduated. So, again, gives plenty of opportunity for some new faces, for some guys to step up. And that's the one thing is, on defense, if you make a mistake, you can still go down the field and hit somebody else. All right? I think that's what defensive coaches always say is if you make a mistake, that's okay. Just go do something. And that's one thing that you can see with the defense. And this defense that the Panthers have, it's an aggressive defense. It's a running, blitzing defense. And so when you have some experience, sometimes that's really good. You just tell a kid, I want you to run here as fast as you can and hit that guy as hard as you can. Now, that is very, very simple, very, very elementary. It's not that simple, really, when you stop to think about it.
Okay, as you head into this season, what questions do you have? Patrick Burnett just going, okay, I got this game coming up in McPherson, and besides, we're going to be in the press box, and, is it going to be okay, and things like that. The broadcast going to get on the air. What questions do you have about this first game coming up with McPherson?
Yeah, a lot of it starts on the offensive side of the ball. And as I mentioned, when teams scheme to take Council out of the game, where will the Panthers go? Who is going to step up to be that playmaker or to go get that third down conversion when you need it to keep a drive alive? So it all starts there on the defensive side of the ball. Will Great Bend's defense be able to shut down certain teams? When you look at Hayes, they're still going to be solid, but they're not going to be nearly as good as they were without Jaron Kanek, who was solidly the best high school football player I've ever seen or covered. So they're not going to be quite the same. Bueller always seems to churn out some good athletes with Coach Warner. They're going to be down a little bit. Sam Elliott, he's not a movie star. He was a running back, believe it or not. He set some school records. He's gone. So there's some questions there for Bueller. Garden always seems to have athletes. They just have not really seemed to put together some really good team. So when you really start to dilute all of this down, I really think things are set up here not only for Great Bend to end the losing streak this year, but I look to see them being very competitive, at least for the first 8 before we get into the playoffs.
Okay, what's 5A look like this year?
5A is always pretty stout. 5A is always really tough. The fact that we don't play a Wichita Northwest on our schedule is good. The fact we don't
I like the direction they went this year.
I do too. Yeah, we don't have to play Bishop Carroll. We don't have to play Cape and Mount Carmel. 5A is loaded. And it's very funny you asked that because I had a really good conversation with the athletic director from Bishop Carroll. Last year, when the Lady Panther softball team played in that regional, we were visiting, and we were talking about the multiplier, and we were talking about all. He's like, we're okay with it. He goes, 6A is easier than 5A. And he didn't come out and say that we just dominate in 5A, but yes, they do really, really well.
Why did all the 6A schools not vote for it?
I think they didn't. Absolutely.
They didn't. It went the other way.
It absolutely did. And that's a whole new different topic and a whole new different discussion that
and 5A didn't want those 4As coming up either.
Absolutely not. See, that's the thing. Like, if you're Great Bend, if all of that happens, okay, instead of going to Wichita to take on Capon and Carroll, now you've got to go to Kansas City to play Miege. So, 3.5 hours or 90 minutes. Take your pick.
Well, you're getting up there within Waffle House country. So, thoughts on McPherson? I know that you're a little bit, because of your trip, you're a little bit behind on getting prepped up, though. But what about Mac?
Mac's going to be solid. They returned their quarterback, and one of their stable of running backs they had last year, J. Tim Gum, was a solid running back for them last year. Alvord, their quarterback, he threw for 1,600 yards. Gum ran for 1,000. They lost some of their best receivers to some graduation, but up front, they had like a college offensive line last year. They were massive up front. They still got 3 of those 5 guys coming back this year. So offensively, they're going to be really sound. Defensively, their strength is going to be in the back end, in the secondary, mainly defensive backs, corners, a couple linebackers. Up front, they got to replace some linemen up front. But Coach Pav has really got this program really rolling. He's starting his 8th year. He's 62-16. Last year was the first year that they did not make it to the state semifinals in 4 years. So they are hungry to try to get back on track. And when you look at McPherson and Great Bend all time, it's been very competitive. 10 of 11. That's what Great Bend is against Mac all time. However, in recent years, it has been favored toward McPherson. Panthers' last win against the Pups came in 2006. Great Bend won that game 26-19, but since then have lost 5 in a row. So, if there's ever a time to get off a skid, it's in the 6-pack game.
Yeah, McPherson, used to be just, we're a basketball school. That's certainly changed here in the last 20 years for sure.
Yeah, Coach Pav has really got things going down there. But you know what? On the road, I always love opening on the road. And people look at me and go, what? Really? Well, when you're at home, you've got tailgates, and you've got family in town. You got all this stuff. When you're on the road, it's just you, your boys, and go play some football. So I really like how this is setting up for the Panthers.
Broadcast crew the same?
Absolutely. Jason Perry will be back with me. Other than my contract with Verizon, that's the longest, most successful relationship I've ever had in my life. And Kevin Henderson, our fantastic spotter and statistician, all 3 of us together, plenty of room in the press box. So glad to have those guys on board again. They do a lot of the work that makes the broadcast go, and without them, it wouldn't be possible.
Patrick, looking forward to it. 6:30 pregame on Friday night, B1043 The Point.
That's the home of the Panthers all season long. We're looking forward to it.
All right, Patrick, thanks for joining us today on Sports Day. Okay, Jim Misunas, Great Bend Tribune, checking in next here on the Monday show here on KVGB.
Hey, you want to hear some good news? Venture Corporation is still hiring for laborers, flaggers, equipment operators, CDL A and B drivers, and mechanics. And if you're ready to make some money, call Leslie at Venture. Thought about getting your CDL? Venture will train the right candidate. Higher starting wages, on-the-job training, excellent benefits, and you get paid for traveling throughout the state. Venture Corporation on South Highway 281 in Great Bend is an equal opportunity employer. Venture Corporation, homegrown, family-owned.
We see the headlines almost every day. Severe storms, evolving weather patterns, migrating marine life, power failures, pollution, and so much more. How are we responding to these challenges, and are we finding sustainable solutions? This is ABC's Aaron Katursky, and this Labor Day weekend we'll dig into these issues with impact, climate, and sustainability, an ABC News radio special. Listen for it right here.
7 to 9 and 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Labor Day right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on KVGB, the Monday show. Good friend Jim Misunas back in with us, Great Bend Tribune. Jim, we just took a year off. I'm glad that you're well rested and ready to go again for Sports Day back on the radio. Great to have you in here.
Well, there's nothing better than working with a Hall of Famer from Fort Hays State.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, all right, there you go. Hey, you brought this in. This is pretty cool. Since you've got that, hold that up for, well, if I can grab it here.
Got the preview section coming out Wednesday.
So this is the preview section in the Tribune on Wednesday, right?
Right, and we're focusing on cross country as far as the cover. The girls ended up third in the state meet and third in the state track meet last year too. So got quite a few girls back, and we'll make another run up at Lawrence this year when they qualify for the state. The Thursday meet is 10 a.m. up at Lake Barton course, and they'll kick it off at 10 in the morning. And then the Hoisington will run a race for the smaller schools later on that day. So it's going to be a fun day up at Lake Barton course.
This could be a special year for Great Bend girls cross country and track and field.
Yeah, they've got quite a nucleus back and a nice mix of field events and running events and sprints and hurdles and jumpers. So, yeah, they got a well-rounded track team coming up next spring, but they like to kick it off here in the fall and get their top 5 or 6 runners going, and they got quite a bit of experience back.
This course preview is not just football; it's all other sports. So let's talk about some of the other sports, if you want to say that, and no disrespect to any of those. But we're not going to talk football here. Some of the top teams in different sports this fall from our area schools, Jim.
Well, certainly for volleyball, Ellenwood had a tough decision to make 2 years ago and didn't make the state tournament because of the virus, but came back strong last year, made the state tournament, made the semifinals, and they've got a great nucleus back. So Ellenwood is a top 3 team, and I expect Ellenwood to make a great run at the state championship in 2A this year. Central Plains, you can't ever count Central Plains out. They're going to be very competitive, and then Great Bend girls will be very competitive this year. I think this is the year where they win the WAC. Garden had won it 10 straight years until last year when Liberal won. But I think Great Bend, this is the year they're going to win it. They've got a nice depth. They're going to play multiple players and nice front line and a good back row. So Shelly Duvall has really developed a nice program. And cross country, of course, the Great Bend girls will be there. And then Hoisington boys have a nice nucleus back. They're going to be back to the state meet, and they'll be going to Lawrence this year too. And Hoisington girls golf will have an outstanding team. They've got 5 players back that qualified for state last year, so Hoisington should get back to the state tournament also. The tennis side is a little bit down, but Great Bend has got most of their team back, so they'll be improved. And then the other schools each have a player or 2 back, but the biggest disappointment was Brianna Hammocky is going to be unable to play tennis because of a shoulder injury, and so that knocked down Central Plains tennis because they qualified for doubles 3 straight years.
Right.
And then she was unable to finish the season last year, so it's tough when you got a doubles tandem that's won like 80% of their matches and they're unable to play their senior year. So, but that's pretty much the short recap. And then, of course, Maxville boys and Hoisington football, of course, will be very competitive.
I like that Maxville team. I think they could. I was looking at their schedule. I think it matches up good, and it's like one of those. I was talking to John Betts last week. You see a guy that's like, it doesn't look right. It's like a junior high dance, right? You got this football player, and the biggest kid out there is the quarterback.
And he's the fastest kid too. He's won the 400 meters in 1A. So Ryan Kuckelman is a tremendous athlete. Really good basketball player, and Maxville's really loaded, and they may not be a top 5 team yet, but they will be in the end. I think Maxville is definitely a team to watch. And then coming up with teams that haven't been so good that are going to be much better, Ellenwood's got a bunch of players back. Great Bend has got a bunch of players back, and Larned is a real sleeper. They go from 3A to 2A, which helps them quite a bit.
Right.
And they've got a bunch of experience back, and Tad Remy's been there quite a long time. So Larned and Ellenwood and Great Bend are all going to be surprise teams, and they might end up with winning records this year.
You bring up a good point about Ellenwood because you can see this group of kids has been coming for a while. They've been getting better numbers and things like that. Whether it's little kids football, then they move up through the junior high ranks and now into the high school. So that's a good point. Wouldn't it be great? Because Ellen was always kind of been a football town, but it's been a long time since, they've really had a team that maybe could make some noise into the postseason.
Yeah, and there's something about when your football team is successful, it sets your whole season up. Because when Great Bend has had their really good football teams, boy, it's an exciting place to be on Friday nights. They had a memorable comeback a couple years ago where they were down 8 points with just a few seconds left, and they ended up winning in overtime. And that place was never crazier. It was just quite a comeback against Andover Central, I believe.
Jim, before I let you go today, and Jim's going to be a regular with us on Monday, but you're from Nickerson. Everybody knew about, the Jones family. What's the latest with that, and how tough has that been on the Nickerson community?
Yeah, it's been awfully tough. Ava Jones is Nickerson had a player who played at Wichita State for 4 years, Bob Hodgson, who was a Hall of Famer at Wichita State. His daughter played 4 years at Wichita State, and she was without a doubt the best player who's ever come out of Nickerson. But Ava had that potential to be the best player who's ever come out of Nickerson. There were 20-plus schools that were recruiting her, and then she finally settled in Iowa. And ironically, just days after that happened, she ended up in a tragic vehicle accident that killed her father and created vast comebacks for herself and her mom. And it's been very, very tough, but the family has gotten great support and just dozens and dozens of fundraisers. There was a cornhole tournament Sunday. They've had a field day at Hutch High, sponsored by Hutch High's softball coach. And so there's been some tremendous support there. And so Ava's coming along good. She went to Friday's scrimmage for volleyball and football and was walking around with a little bit of assistance from a crutch. But she's moving along really well. She's sounded like she was going to pretty much paint herself out of any activities this year. But I wouldn't necessarily hold that out because she's a tremendous worker. She's got a big heart, and she's got a tremendous will to come back from her injuries. And her mom the same way. She, when you have good genes in you, that's in you. Yeah. You don't ever lose that. So yeah, Ava and her mom, Amy, have quite a long road ahead of them. But yeah, we're hopeful that Ava can come back and certainly have a chance to maybe compete at the college level if she doesn't compete this year.
Jim, thanks for coming over. We'll talk to you not next Monday. It's Labor Day. You can come over if you want to.
Well, I got 2 little tidbits yet.
Okay, all right. I didn't give you your Misunas tidbits.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
All right.
Okay, so what happens when the Big Red Machine goes to Big Red Country? Levi Pettigo goes to Nebraska this week.
Really?
It's North Dakota at Nebraska. And what happens when a greenback goes to Manhattan? Travis Tice, South Dakota, plays at Kansas State.
Oh, Wyatt, right.
Yeah, Wyatt Pettigo.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and Travis Tice goes to Kansas State at South Dakota. They play at Kansas State. And we also have a little Jackie Stiles speaks tonight, 6:30 at Barton County. It will be quite a thing if anybody can go. It's 6:30 tonight at Barton County Fine Arts Center.
Okay, we're trying to hook Jackie up, be on the show tomorrow too. So we'll see if that works. Jim, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, 2 weeks. Enjoy that season opener this Friday and have all that information, and I'll give you room for the Misunas tidbits, all right?
Okay, that's good.
Okay, Sports Day rolls on. Panther Prowl. Mike Corson up next. He'll be talking with Panther volleyball coach Shelly Duvall here on the program.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
Can I let you in on a little secret? Everyone knows that Dom Truck Repair has been fixing big rigs for 20 years, but they also have a complete welding and fab shop, as well as a trailer repair facility.
So I don't have to go out of town to get my cattle pod or grain trailer fixed?
Nope, they can fix anything on your trailer, including aluminum welding and hut rivet work. Heck, they can even handle hydraulic issues, air brakes, lights, and wiring, and build just about anything out of steel or aluminum. Just talk to Darren at 5548 Oil Center Road in Great Bend.
Warren Brothers Incorporated would like to thank all their loyal customers. They can repair and coat your oil field production equipment or sandblast and paint your rolling stock. Warren Brothers offers statewide service with their portable units. Next time you have a project, don't hesitate to call Warren Brothers, where they're always having a blast. 506 Highway 281 Great Bend, Call 620-793-3630. That's 620-793-3630.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Back again today, Great Bend High School coach Shelly Duvall.
Hello, hello.
You're a weekend. How are things going?
I'll tell you what, we've been having some practices. These girls are geared up.
And you had done the mental conditioning, which is something we hadn't always heard of.
Yeah, we've really been focusing on the mental side of the game. I think a lot of coaches focus on that physical side, and especially with female sports, we definitely need a little bit more focus on that mental side. And these girls have bought into what we're doing, and it's really gaining some knowledge for them, and they're feeling a lot more confident on that court and just in general.
And busy week coming up. You guys had your scrimmage Friday, get into action with 3 things coming up. But before we talk about that, I get a kick out of the new game versus the old game. And we were talking back in the day, even 25 years ago, big knee pads, big jerseys, big shorts.
Oh, yeah. Most of them will know the turtle knee pads. They were bigger than your legs.
And so when you see the ones they're wearing today, you would think if the knee pads were good back then, why are the girls not getting injured today?
Right. I don't know. I mean, we had the big turtle knee pads, and now I look, and most teams, they're wearing knee pads, but they wear them below their knees. So I have no idea the purpose of that, but tends to work, I guess.
And then how about the pace of the game? Back then it was it was not rally point.
It was not rally score, right. Back when we played, it was, you had to be in possession of the serve in order to score the point. If you served in the net, it was loss of point. So that was, or loss of side out, it wasn't a point. And with the rally score, it's just everything is so much more sped up. You're scoring a point regardless of what happens, no matter what. So definitely within 25 years, the game has changed.
And you guys had your scrimmage Friday. And I know last week we talked about some of the kids you have coming back. How about some of the newcomers on varsity this year?
This is, I've said it from the beginning. This we had our scrimmage. Our C team was able to scrimmage our 8th grade A team. We always like to bring that group up just so they can kind of get a taste of what it looks like. And our C team are girls that typically we're still kind of in that learning stage, but these girls have been going at it at practice and giving us a challenge with our JV squad. Our JV's playing really strong right now. It's probably the first time in a while that I've had a secondary group that's able to scrimmage that varsity crew and give us some intense practices. So they all look great.
And we're here with Great Bend High School coach Shelly Duvall. So the Friday scrimmages, you got to see all your squads in action. How nice for a final tune-up before you really see some nice teams coming up.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it kind of exposes the areas that we still need to work on. It's kind of hard, too, because the other team obviously knows what we're doing. But having that little bit of scrimmage and hearing the crowd up in the stands getting after it and those girls getting the intensity and feeling how it feels to be back on the court again, I think it's just going to put us in a great position for next week when we see Garden and Liberal.
And where are you going to see Liberal? I've got Garden City on Tuesday. I got Dodge City on, or Garden City Thursday, Dodge City Tuesday?
Yes. So our C team actually start Monday, and they will head to Garden City that day as well. And they'll see a couple teams there. So they're in action. This is their last practice today, and or Friday was their last practice, and our game is today for them. And Thursday is our varsity JV, and then we turn around the following week and head to Dodge City. So we're seeing WAC schools right off the bat.
And then as I know a lot of the Wichita area schools and maybe some of the Northeast schools, pretty excited to see the WAC schools this early on.
Yes, definitely. The only thing about our schedule is, most of the teams that we're seeing out in this first week have already played a tournament this past weekend. They were already playing tournaments. And so it's kind of a little nerve-wracking to go into that first night knowing that we haven't been on the court yet and they've all played 8 matches already. So that'll be fun.
And then coming up Saturday, you guys have your first tournament, Riley County.
Yes. Riley County is interesting. It's only our second year being in that tournament, and we see some teams that we've not seen throughout the year. And Jefferson County North is always there. They're always putting up a good fight. A little bit smaller schools. We got Clay Center, teams like that we don't typically see during the season. So we always like getting into that tournament just to give us some extra play.
And I know Jeffco was at 2A state last year. Clay Center, I don't know if they went to 4A state, but I know they were ranked.
Yes, they were both extremely tough teams last year. Clay Center Clay Center took us in the tournament, but we got Jayco both times when we played them that day because we had to see them twice in bracket and pool play. So it'll be interesting to see what everybody has this year.
Well, good luck. Lots of action coming up. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you again in a week.
Thanks so much.
More Sports Day after this.
This is Barton Community College Athletic Director Trevor Rolfs. The Barton Athletic Department is proud to sponsor Sports Day on KVGB, a show that showcases all of our high school student athletes in central Kansas, some whom will continue their educational and athletic future with us here at Barton. We're excited about the fall sports season that is now underway and invite you to attend a game or a match and experience the rich tradition of Cougar athletics. For complete schedules and results, visit bartonsports.com.
Nobody protects you from mayhem in Georgia like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Welcome back. Sports Day again here on KVGB. Steve Webster with you. And, of course, Mike Orson, Mike Hesher. Hey, Joey Barr is part of our talented crew, and Joey was over in Claflin on Friday night as they hosted a jamboree. Spearville was there, Central Plains, Lacrosse, and Otis Bison. Might as well talk with the mayor to start off with, or Joey did. It's a conversation he had. I think this may have been between scrimmages or one of their jamboree sessions, but Joey Barr with head coach Chris Steiner of the Central Plains Oilers.
We're back at the Central Plains Jamboree. I'm here with Central Plains head coach. Well, Coach, you've already got 2 sessions in. How's it looking so far?
Oh, there's some ups and there's some downs, kind of to be expected on a jamboree deal like this. It's just a great thing for us to have because with numbers, just to get a good scrimmage in just has never happened for us. So the rule change allowing this jamboree has been a godsend to us from all the small schools. Otis is sitting out there with 13 kids. This is the first time they're getting to go live and see both sides of the ball. So, we're seeing some good things. We're seeing some not so good things, Overall, I've been pleased. We got a lot of young kids playing in some spots. We're rotating a lot of guys. We're still got some battles going. Got 4 or 5 actually position battles going on right now, which I guess is a good thing. So hopefully we'll have some answers after tonight. Be ready next week for Nest City. With who's going to make those spots and stuff. But it gives us some good film to go through. So guys say all the time, I did this, I did that. We're going, no. Here's what you really did. So overall, like I said, we're in position most of the time. We're just not finishing stuff. We're not finishing blocks. We're not. Where our linebackers are getting to where they need to be, and maybe not finishing the tackle the way we would like to see it done. So things we can learn from. That's what it's all about.
How valuable is the jamboree in having not only your kids but also as a coach, seeing somebody who's not on your team, something different, some bigger size, smaller size kids coming at your kids?
Oh, absolutely. I talk about it all the time. Back in 18 when we had that phenomenal team and we about lost the first game of the season because we thought we had things set up really nice, for that deal, and learned real quick we needed to make a whole lot of changes, and then was able to make those changes. This way you get to make these changes, you can see things, and it doesn't cost you a loss, that would go against you for the long deal, whether it's league or district or whatever, some people already start district that early, so so it's just great to have a warm-up game. The NFL does it, so it's great that we get to do it.
All right, you're coming off a winning record though last year, 5-4. How do you guys see an opportunity for you to improve this year on that, or or where do you think you're going to stand?
Yeah, we hope. But we just want to take one game at a time and get better every week. Like I said, a lot of young kids. We graduated a heavy class last year. We graduated all our offensive production. Other than one kid who had a few yards, but our big 3 all graduated on that. So we hope so. We'd like to see it. We'd like to think. We're never happy with that. I've said for a long time. We've been very fortunate here, and have only had a couple losing seasons the whole time I've been here. So we're a little spoiled. So 5-4 was awful close to knocking on that door to us. So just that's something we're looking for. So we want to build on that. But like I said, we're at the mercy of a bunch of young guys. So we'll see how they develop week by week.
Last question here. You have a new assistant coach this year, Michael Ryan. He played for you. How valuable is having somebody like Michael on the sidelines for you?
Oh, it's fantastic. Adding the extra coach has been phenomenal. It's freed me up to move around a little bit and see a little bit of everything, more like it is in a game, instead of always with a position group during practice. You're always fortunate when you got your own guys come back that know your system. I've been lucky to have my son Bryce. He's my quarterback coach and linebacker coach. He already played the spots, so he knows what he's doing and coaches it up real well. And I coach Mike, Michael Ryan, coaching O-line, D-line, what he played for me most of his career. Of course, Mike played every position for us. I mean, he was even quarterback. Our kids can't believe that, but I said so. It's just fantastic to have him. And I give our kids a hard time because the minute they don't know something out of our playbook, out of our base offense, I'm screaming at them because Mike ain't looked at a playbook in 7 years and still knows every single play we run. See, and I told him that's ridiculous. We can't remember a play from camp, and he still knows everything from 7 years ago. So it's just great. He knows what I want. He knows what I expect. I don't have to. How it is with a new coach. Anytime you got a new guy, especially the new assistant that's way down on the low totem pole, which it's not where Mike's at. I mean, but according to everybody else, that's where he'd be. But it's just fantastic with him because I tell him to do something, I have to look and see if he's actually doing it because he knows what I expect.
All right, good stuff there. And, of course, Michael Ryan, the cool thing about the state championship team he played on, he was a starting center on that team and then came back and was a starting point guard on a very successful basketball team. Not going to have time to get to John Webster today, but Joey had time to talk with Tom Lumpkins, new head coach of Otis Bison. They were also at that Jamboree Friday night.
Here, Otis Bison's new head coach, Tom Lumpkins. Coach, you've just wrapped up all your sessions tonight. How do you think your team did tonight?
We didn't do real well. It had a hard time getting physical early. I think a lot of that is, we're short on numbers this year, 13 guys. Have to be a little careful in practice with hitting, keep people playing every Friday night. We got to learn to be physical. We got to show up. We got to be ready to fire off the ball and hit and just be physical and show up. So we didn't do that tonight.
With 13 kids and on an 8-man squad, it's obviously hard to be able to have two complete sides to go against each other. How valuable was it to be able to go up against a full complement across the line for you?
Yeah, this is huge for us, really. Before today, we weren't able to ever go up head-to-head, our starting offense against a defense. So this is good for us. We got out of it what we needed to get out of it, and we'll grow from it and learn and make some adjustments in practice and be ready to roll next Friday.
Obviously, one of the teams here tonight is Lacrosse. That's who you're going to face, Friday night for the Battle of Rush County. Probably a little mixed emotions going up against your Week 1 opponent, in the Jamboree. Did you come in with a plan of I'm only going to show you this much this week and try and read what you can off of them?
Yeah, we didn't touch much of our playbook tonight, especially when we saw how we were blocking early and stuff. We kind of stuck to the basics, so didn't want to show too much, but yet we want to work through some things and understand how it's going to look in game situations. So we'll come with a little bit different arsenal next Friday and hopefully be a lot more physical than we were tonight.
You have 13 players. 3 of those are seniors, right? How important is their leadership this year for you?
It's real important, really. I'm looking for them to really step up in practice and preach to those guys how hard we need to work. I've been telling them all year, 13 guys, we got to be the most in shape team in the state of Kansas, and just getting them to step up and be leaders when we're working on that conditioning and fighting through it.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
All right, good work, Joey. We'll try to get to that John Webster interview tomorrow if we have time during the Tuesday show. Otis Bison, as Joey mentioned, they take on Lacrosse, who is also at that event, and that will be in Lacrosse Central Plains. Meanwhile, they travel west. They will take on Ness City. We'll be back. Sports Day. Wrap it up for you after this.
Is the extreme heat of summer wearing you down? Are you dreading another harsh, cold winter? Good news. You can work in a safe, clean, and climate-controlled workspace. Superior Essex is hiring for multiple positions in maintenance, engineering, and production with a sign-on bonus up to $5,000. Starting wages up to $24 an hour with a competitive benefits package, including Blue Cross Blue Shield, Delta Dental, 401k with a company match, vacation, and holiday pay. Apply at any Kansas Works office or at superioressex.com.
All right, back final segment here for the program today. Who do we have tomorrow?
Hopefully Jackie Styles. Is that
what
we're still working on Jackie, I know. So that'd be a great thing.
And Cole Reif will be in here. That's his regular Tuesday spot. Okay, high school football schedule. If you want to see who's playing who in week 1, you can go to greatbendpost.com. It's there right now in the sports section. Great Bend and McPherson Western Athletic Conference action. Junction City is going to be at Hayes. Mike Corson's going to be up there taking some photos, writing a story for Catch It, Kansas. So we'll get a good view on the Hayes High Indians. Wichita West at Dodge City. Wichita Heights plays at Garden City, and Holcomb visits Liberal on Friday night. Central Kansas League, Hoisington opens at Heston. Those two teams haven't played since they played and got to the Final Four of the playoffs. Larned plays at Pratt, Nickerson at Lyons, Halstead at Smoky Valley, and Hillsboro's at Haven. Other 11-man games, Ellenwood. Want to see what they have. Jim Misunas brought up a good point. These kids have played together a while. We'll see if it starts to pay dividends. They're still very young, but taking on a Syracuse team at home. Russell is at Ellsworth. Russell is at Ellsworth, or at Ellis. Beloit at Ellsworth. TMP is at Oakley. And then the 8-man game, Central Plains at Ness City. Otis Bison at Lacrosse. St. John is at Maxville. Kinsley is at Victoria. I don't want to know why that thing's not playing, Mike. What's the deal here? Okay, I'll just go ahead and do that right there.
This is Agriculture Today. I'm Samantha.
Well, that's not right.
No, it is not. It is not. Okay, never mind. And you wanted to know, are you going to run the thing live? Yeah, well, okay, that's why. Okay. Let's see. St. John at Maxville, Kinsley at Victoria, South Barber at Skyline, Mineola at Kiowa County, Hodgman at South Gray, Pike Valley at Wilson, Little River at Canton Galva, and Moscow plays at Pawnee Heights in 6-man action. Chase, has the opening week off. Well, we're still being plagued, even back to the old Sports Day show.
Would that be a good thing, having the opening week off?
No.
I wouldn't think so.
No, it wouldn't be. Especially only get 9 games, so, or I guess 8
and then games. And then 8 games in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then you count the first week of the playoffs.
Right.
Okay. All right, we got through it. Still need that full-time executive producer.
I'm working on it, Steve. I'm working on it.
Okay, keep working on it. Okay, coming up tomorrow, Cole Reif, hopefully Jackie Styles, let's see, and Chewy Loria, soccer.